The Aston Martin Valkyrie feels less like a car and more like a leaked prototype that somehow escaped a Formula One garage. The moment you see it, your brain struggles to categorize it. This isn't a supercar trying to be extreme. This is an extreme machine reluctantly allowed on public roads. And the most unsettling part? Aston Martin insists this is legal. From the front, the Valkyrie looks almost unfinished, and that's intentional. There's barely a traditional nose, just sculpted carbon fiber shaped entirely by airflow. The headlights are thin, almost apologetic, as if lighting wasn't the priority here. Air is. Massive channels run straight through the body, not around it, feeding the underfloor and front aero like a race car that forgot it needs a license plate. Every millimeter of the front end exists to generate downforce, not admiration, although it ends up doing both. This isn't designed for beauty. It's designed for physics. Move to the side profile and things get even more unreal. The Valkyrie barely looks connected to the ground. The cabin is pushed forward, the roofline low, and the body carved away so aggressively that daylight passes through parts of the car. The massive Venturi tunnels dominate the silhouette, creating a floating effect that feels illegal just to look at. The wheels are wrapped in Michelin tires developed specifically for this car, because nothing off the shelf could survive what Aston Martin had planned. At speed, this thing generates more downforce than its own weight, which means at some theoretical point, the Valkyrie could drive upside down. Not that you should try. Please don't try. Then you open the door, or rather, lift it, and reality shifts again. The interior doesn't welcome you. It accepts you cautiously. The seating position is almost reclined, feet raised, hips low, just like an LMP1 race car. There are no plush materials here, no soft luxury gestures. Carbon fiber surrounds you everywhere, exposed and unapologetic. Even the seats are carbon shells with minimal padding, because comfort was clearly negotiated down to a secondary concern. The steering wheel is removable, packed with controls, and looks like it was borrowed directly from a race engineer who said, "You'll figure it out." There's no traditional infotainment screen for passengers to poke at. Instead, a compact digital display feeds you exactly what you need: speed, revs, drive modes, and nothing you don't. Even the air conditioning exists mostly as a courtesy. This cabin isn't meant for traffic jams or playlists. It's meant for focus. And yes, it technically has cup holders, but that feels like a legal requirement rather than an invitation. Walk to the rear and the Valkyrie becomes even more intimidating. There's barely a rear window because airflow matters more than visibility. The exhaust exits high, central, and exposed, sitting just above the enormous diffuser like a warning label. The rear end looks skeletal, mechanical, honest. No fake vents. No decoration. Just exposed suspension components, carbon fiber surfaces, and aerodynamic chaos working in harmony. It doesn't look aggressive in a loud way, it looks aggressive in a quiet, confident, almost surgical way. Now comes the heart of the madness. Underneath all this carbon lives a naturally aspirated 6.5-liter V12 developed by Cosworth. No turbos. No superchargers. Just pure mechanical violence spinning up to 11,100 revolutions per minute. On its own, it produces around 1,000 horsepower. Add the lightweight hybrid system, and total output climbs to roughly 1,160 horsepower. But numbers don't tell the real story here. The sound does. This engine doesn't roar, it screams, like a Formula One car discovering caffeine. And unlike most modern hypercars, there's no turbo lag, no artificial drama. Every throttle input is instant, raw, and slightly terrifying. Power is sent through a 7-speed single-clutch automated manual, chosen not for comfort, but for weight savings. The Valkyrie weighs just over 1,000 kilograms dry, lighter than many compact cars, which explains why the performance feels less like acceleration and more like teleportation. 0 to 60 happens in under 2.5 seconds, but that figure almost feels irrelevant. This car isn't about drag races. It's about what happens after that: the corners, the braking, the stability at speeds where your instincts start filing complaints. On the move, the Valkyrie doesn't flatter the driver. It demands respect. The suspension, inspired directly by Formula One pushrod setups, keeps the car absurdly flat through corners. The steering is sharp, communicative, and brutally honest. Make a mistake, and the car won't sugarcoat it. Get it right, and it rewards you with a driving experience that borders on spiritual. This is not a car you casually enjoy. This is a car you prepare for. And yet, despite all this insanity, Aston Martin insists the Valkyrie is road legal. You can drive it on public roads, over speed bumps, past confused pedestrians, through traffic lights that were never designed to witness something like this. That contradiction, between legality and lunacy, is what makes the Valkyrie so fascinating. The Aston Martin Valkyrie isn't trying to be the fastest, the most luxurious, or the most usable. It's trying to be something far rarer, honest. Honest about what happens when engineers are given freedom, a blank check, and very few compromises. It doesn't chase trends. It doesn't explain itself. It simply exists, daring the rest of the automotive world to catch up. And maybe the most unsettling thing about the Valkyrie isn't how extreme it is. It's that Aston Martin looked at all this and said, "Yes. This belongs on the road."